Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like a stranger was looking back at you? Maybe your reflection shows more lines, thinner hair, or a slower posture than you remember. You smile, but even that feels a little different. Aging. It sneaks up on all of us. One day we're chasing kids around the house, and the next we're trying to remember where we left our reading glasses. And in that quiet moment, it's easy to feel like time has stolen something from us. But here's the truth most people don't talk about. Aging is not the enemy. In fact, for many people, aging has become a new beginning. It's a chance to slow down, reflect, reconnect with what matters, and live life with more peace than ever before. The problem isn't aging itself, it's how we think about aging. Society often tells us that getting older means becoming less relevant, less useful, or even invisible. But the truth is far more beautiful. You are not disappearing, you are becoming more of who you truly are. In today's video, we're going to share real stories and powerful advice from seniors who have learned how to accept aging gracefully. They've been where you are. They've felt the confusion, the frustration, and the quiet sadness that can come with change. But they also discovered something else, a way to move forward with grace, dignity, and even joy. So if you've ever felt uncertain about growing older or wondered how to make peace with this new season of life, this video is for you. We'll walk through gentle reminders, practical tips, and soulful encouragement to help you shift your mindset and rediscover what it means to truly live at any age. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1. Embrace the physical changes, don't fight them. When did this happen? She whispered to herself. Just a few years ago, she was the lively grandma chasing grandkids in the backyard, hosting Thanksgiving dinners, and dancing in the kitchen with her husband. Now her knees crack, her hands feel stiffer, and she moves a little slower. For months, Grace tried everything to reverse the signs of aging. Expensive creams, anti-aging supplements, even hair dye. But the more she fought it, the more exhausted she felt. One morning, she made a different choice. She stopped trying to look young and started learning how to feel well. She joined a gentle yoga class, began meditating 10 minutes a day, and let her hair grow out to its natural gray. That was the most liberating thing I've done in years, she says today with a smile. This story is not unique. Many older adults go through a difficult phase of resisting the visible and invisible changes that aging brings. Society bombards us with messages that youth is the ultimate prize, that we must hide our age, cover our wrinkles, stay slim and firm at all costs. But this mindset only leads to frustration and sadness. The truth is, aging is a biological process, not a personal failure. Our skin gets thinner, bones may weaken, and metabolism slows down. Muscles change, eyesight adjusts, and hearing fades. These aren't signs that something is wrong. They're signs that we've lived, loved, and experienced life fully. From a scientific perspective, aging is a natural part of human biology. Our cells have something called telomeres, which shorten as we age. This shortening is associated with the aging process. And while we can't stop it entirely, we can influence how gracefully we age by supporting our bodies with good habits. Gentle movement, proper hydration, balanced nutrition, and rest all contribute to how we feel as we age. When we stop seeing our bodies as broken and instead see them as evolving, we start to care for ourselves with compassion rather than criticism. So what can you do, practically speaking, to embrace these changes? First, change the way you talk to yourself. Instead of saying, "I hate my wrinkles," try, "These lines tell a story. They belong to me." Treat your body like a beloved friend who has been with you through thick and thin. That aching back, it helped you raise children, work long hours, and carry groceries. Those hands with age spots, they've written letters, cooked meals, and comforted others. Celebrate your body for everything it's done, and still does, for you every day. You might also find comfort in gentle physical routines. Walking in nature, Tai Chi, water aerobics, or chair yoga are beautiful ways to stay active without strain. And don't forget to rest. Deep sleep helps your body repair itself, and a calm evening routine can work wonders. Stretch, sip tea, listen to music. Let rest be your gift to yourself. Not a sign of laziness, but a celebration of peace. Emotionally, it helps to shift your perspective from loss to growth. You're not losing your youth, you're gaining wisdom. You're not fading, you're refining. Many older adults report feeling more emotionally stable, spiritually fulfilled, and confident in who they are than at any other time in life. Why? Because with age comes freedom. You no longer need to prove yourself to the world. You get to be exactly who you are, unapologetically. Grace, the teacher from Ohio, now walks to the park every morning with her dog. She wears her sun hat, lets her gray hair fly freely, and smiles at everyone she passes. She no longer hides her age. She embraces it. Every year I live, she says, is one more page in my story, and I want to read every word of it. What about you? Can you think of one small way you could treat your body more kindly this week? Maybe it's a kind word in the mirror, a walk in the sun, or choosing to rest without guilt. Remember, your body has never let you down. It's been your home, your shelter, your greatest ally. Don't fight it, love it, nourish it, and most of all, thank it. Now that we've talked about accepting physical change, let's move into something just as powerful. How to redefine your self-worth beyond what you do. Number 2, redefine your self-worth beyond productivity. Mike spent over 40 years as an engineer. He was the kind of man who never missed a day of work, always had a project in motion, and felt most alive when his calendar was full. When he finally retired at the age of 67, he imagined a life of peace and ease. But within just a few months, that peace began to feel like emptiness. His mornings were quiet, too quiet. No deadlines, no meetings, no one calling to ask for help. At first, he filled the time with chores, fixing things around the house, keeping himself busy, but eventually the silence settled in. And in that silence, Mike began to ask himself a painful question. If I'm no longer working, what value do I bring? This is a question many older adults wrestle with. In a world that celebrates productivity, output, and hustle, it can feel disorienting to step away from a lifelong identity rooted in doing. We're taught from an early age that our worth is measured by what we contribute to our jobs, our families, our communities. But as we age, those roles change. Children grow up, careers wind down, physical energy shifts, and without realizing it, many people start to equate slowing down with fading away. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The truth is, your worth has never been, and never will be, tied to your productivity. You are valuable not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Your experiences, your wisdom, your presence, these are irreplaceable gifts. You've lived through decades of love, hardship, change, loss, and triumph. You carry knowledge that no young person can Google. You understand things that only time can teach. Let's look at this from a psychological perspective. Researchers have found that one of the biggest sources of anxiety for retirees is a sudden loss of identity. When someone who once felt needed and capable now feels like a burden, their mental health can decline. But there's good news. Studies also show that older adults who find new purpose, even in small, quiet ways, experience greater life satisfaction, lower rates of depression, and even improved physical health. So what does it mean to redefine your self-worth? It means shifting the lens. Instead of asking, what can I produce? Ask, what can I offer? It might be a listening ear for a struggling friend, a warm story told to a grandchild, a handwritten letter to someone you love. It might be mentoring someone younger, volunteering at the library, or simply being a calm and steady presence in a chaotic world. You don't have to be busy to be meaningful. Mike eventually found his new rhythm. One afternoon, after watching a news story about children struggling with reading, he decided to sign up as a volunteer tutor at the local elementary school. At first, he worried he'd be out of place, But after a few weeks, he realized he was not only helping children learn, he was reconnecting with the parts of himself that he loved most: patience, encouragement, kindness. He didn't need a job title to be useful. He just needed to be present. And here's something important to remember. Resting is not wasting time. Slowing down is not giving up. It is a sacred rhythm of life. Nature shows us this clearly. Trees don't bloom all year, and rivers don't rush without pause. Even the sun has its setting, and yet everything in nature has worth in every stage. So do you. If you're struggling to feel useful in this season of life, take a moment to ask yourself, what brings me peace? What makes me feel alive, even in small ways? Sometimes your greatest contribution might simply be your ability to listen, to love, or to show up for someone who needs you. That is no small thing. You are not past your prime. You are in a new season, one that doesn't ask you to rush, perform, or prove, but simply to be. And that in itself is more than enough. So now that we've opened up the idea of inner worth, let's look at another key to aging gracefully: staying connected, even when you feel like pulling away. Number 3, stay social, even when you feel like isolating. Annette was 82 when her husband of nearly 60 years passed away. They had shared everything: morning coffee, quiet evenings, walks in the park, even their favorite TV shows. After he was gone, the house felt unbearably silent. She stopped going out as much, turned down invitations from friends, and even skipped her weekly church meetings. What's the point? She'd tell herself. I don't want to talk. I don't want to explain. I just want to be left alone. What started as a need for space turned into something heavier, a quiet withdrawal from the world around her. Days blurred together. Meals became simpler. Her phone rarely rang. She didn't realize it at first, but loneliness had crept in like a fog, slowly dimming her once bright spirit. This story is all too common. As we get older, the risk of social isolation increases due to retirement, the loss of a spouse or friends, physical limitations, or simply because we feel like we no longer belong in a world that seems to move too fast. And while some alone time is healthy, prolonged isolation can deeply affect both mental and physical health. Studies show that chronic loneliness is associated with increased risks of depression, cognitive decline, heart disease, and even early mortality. In fact, being socially isolated has been compared to smoking 15 cigarettes a day in terms of its health impact. That's how serious it is. But here's the encouraging part. Connection is a powerful form of medicine, and it's never too late to reconnect. Human beings are wired for social interaction. We thrive on it. And while it may look different in older age, the need for meaningful contact doesn't go away. We still need someone to talk to laugh with, to be seen and heard by another human being. Annette's story took a turn when her daughter gently persuaded her to attend a weekly gathering for seniors at the local church. She resisted at first, worried she'd feel out of place or that people would pity her. But on her first visit, something unexpected happened. A woman she didn't know handed her a cup of tea and asked, "How are you really doing?" For the first time in months, Annette felt seen. Slowly, week by week, she began showing up. She joined a knitting circle. She started baking again and bringing her treats to the group. Eventually, she even began helping organize events. Her laughter returned. Her voice, once quiet, became strong again. What Annette discovered, and what many seniors can relate to, is that connection doesn't always have to be loud or overwhelming. It can be small, gentle, and still deeply healing. A phone call, a short walk with a neighbor, sharing a meal, attending a book club, even smiling at someone at the grocery store. These tiny moments matter. They tell us we're not alone. If you find yourself pulling away from people, start small. Is there someone you can call this week, even just to say hello? Is there a local community center, senior program, or library event you could visit just for a change of scenery? Can you write a letter, send a card, or wave to a neighbor you haven't seen in a while? These acts, though simple, create ripples that can gently draw us back into life. And if physical limitations make it harder to get out, don't underestimate the power of digital tools. Learning how to use video calls, joining online groups, or simply texting family members can help bridge the gap. You don't have to be a tech expert. You just need someone patient to show you the basics, and you'll be surprised how much those little screens can open the world again. Remember, social connection is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. You are not meant to walk through this season alone. There are people who need your wisdom, your smile, your stories. And there are people who can remind you simply by being there that you still matter. So, as we reflect on the importance of staying connected, let's carry this truth into the next part of our journey. Learning how to heal old regrets and forgive ourselves, because true peace in aging also comes from within. Number 4, heal past regrets and forgive yourself. Leonard, now 80, sits every morning on the same worn porch swing his wife once loved. From there, he watches the sunrise while holding a steaming cup of black coffee. But for many years, that quiet morning ritual came with a heavy weight: regret. Leonard spent much of his life working long hours, building a small hardware business from scratch. He provided for his family, but he missed birthdays, soccer games, and family vacations. His wife always forgave him, but he couldn't forgive himself. After she passed away 5 years ago, the guilt settled deeper into his bones. "I was there, but I wasn't present," he would whisper to no one in particular. For a long time, he believed that his mistakes were too big, too final to ever find peace. Leonard's experience speaks to a deep truth many people face as they age. Regret is a quiet companion that tends to get louder in the stillness of older age. When the noise of life fades, when careers end, children move away, and the days slow down, we're left with memories. And some of those memories sting. Words we didn't say, apologies we never made, risks we were too afraid to take. But here's the truth no one tells us enough. Regret is a natural part of living. The only people who don't feel regret are the ones who haven't truly lived. From a psychological standpoint, holding on to regret can cause long-term emotional stress and even contribute to physical illness. It keeps the nervous system in a constant state of tension. But forgiveness, especially self-forgiveness, is proven to reduce anxiety, lower blood pressure, and improve overall well-being. The challenge is that many of us were raised to believe we have to earn forgiveness. We think we have to be punished first, but forgiveness is not something we achieve. It's something we choose. Not because we've forgotten what we did, but because we choose not to suffer from it every day for the rest of our lives. Leonard's healing began the day his granddaughter asked him, "Papa, what was your biggest mistake?" He hesitated, then told her the truth. About the years he worked too much, about the nights he came home late. She looked at him, hugged him tight, and said, "That doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you human." That simple moment cracked something open. Leonard started writing letters to his children, to his wife, even though she was gone, and most importantly, to himself. He wrote down everything he wished he had done differently, and then he wrote what he had done right. It was the first time he saw the full picture of his life, not just the mistakes, but the love, the effort, the growth. You don't have to write letters, but you do have to be honest with yourself. What are you still carrying? What guilt do you whisper about in the dark? Write it down. Speak it out loud. Then ask yourself the most important question: can I choose to let go now? Forgiveness is not about erasing the past. It's about releasing its grip on your heart. If there are people you still need to make peace with, consider reaching out. Sometimes a short phone call, a heartfelt message, or even a prayer in silence can begin to heal old wounds. And if it's yourself you need to forgive, try this. Every time that painful memory comes back, place your hand over your heart and say, "I was doing the best I could with what I knew at the time." Say it again and again, because it's true. No one reaches old age without scars. But each scar also tells a story, not just of pain, but of healing. And healing is possible, even now, even here. So ask yourself, what would it feel like to truly forgive yourself? To put down the burden you've been carrying for years? To finally say, "I deserve peace," because you do. And that peace can begin today. Next, let's explore how creating a new sense of purpose, no matter your age, can breathe life into your days and meaning into your journey forward. Number 5, create new purpose. At any age, Maria was 76 years old when she picked up a paintbrush for the first time. It was a gift from her daughter, wrapped in bright paper with a little note that said, "You always said you wanted to try this." Maria had spent most of her life raising 5 children, managing a busy household, cooking, cleaning, loving everyone else first. And then one day the house was quiet. The kids had moved out, her husband had passed on, and she was left with long days that seemed to stretch endlessly. At first, she filled them with TV reruns, simple meals, and naps she didn't really need. But something was missing. Not excitement or noise, but meaning. When she opened that gift, Maria didn't know how to mix colors or hold a brush. But what she did know was that something inside her needed to come alive again. That afternoon, she painted her first flower. It wasn't perfect, but it was hers. And for the first time in a long time, she felt purpose. As we age, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that our best contributions are behind us. That purpose is something reserved for the young, the busy, the working. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Purpose isn't about productivity or achievement. It's about connection to something greater than yourself. It's about waking up in the morning and knowing that your day has meaning, and you don't need a career, a paycheck, or a crowd of admirers to find that kind of meaning. All you need is curiosity and a willingness to begin again. Research has shown that having a sense of purpose is one of the strongest predictors of a longer, healthier life. People who feel like they are still needed, by family, by community, by themselves, tend to have better cognitive function, lower rates of depression, and even fewer chronic illnesses. Why? Because the human spirit doesn't retire. It's always looking for something to love, something to give, something to grow. Finding purpose later in life doesn't have to be dramatic or public. It can be as simple as starting a garden, mentoring a young neighbor, writing down your life stories, or learning a new instrument. One man in his 80s started making birdhouses and donating them to local schools. Another woman began baking bread every week and giving it to the mail carrier, the pharmacy staff, and anyone who needed a little kindness. These aren't just hobbies, they are missions. Small acts of joy that ripple outward and remind us that we still have something to offer. Maria, the painter, now leads a free art circle at her community center. Every Thursday afternoon, she gathers with a handful of other seniors who bring watercolors, laughter, and stories. It's not about the painting, she says. It's about showing up. It's about seeing each other. She never imagined that picking up a brush would lead her to new friendships, new confidence, and a new chapter of life she never expected. If you're wondering where to start, ask yourself this: what have I always wanted to try, but never gave myself permission to do? Was there a dream you set aside for others? A talent you never explored? A cause that's always moved your heart? It's never too late. Your age is not a barrier. It's a gateway. You've reached a point in life where you no longer need to prove anything to anyone. Now is the time to explore, express, and experience with freedom. Even the smallest act of intention can be powerful. Teaching a child to read, learning to cook a new dish, tending to a garden, calling someone who's lonely. These moments matter. They anchor you to the world and remind you that your presence still shapes lives, including your own. So, what might give your life a spark this season? What small thing could you start this week that speaks to your heart? Remember, purpose is not something you find once and keep forever. It's something you create again and again, with each new sunrise. As we move forward, let's talk about something just as important: the strength it takes to accept help, and why doing so is not weakness, but wisdom. Number 6, accept help without shame. David had always been the strong one. He built his own home with his bare hands in his 30s, worked double shifts to provide for his family, and was known in the neighborhood as the guy who could fix anything. But now at 79, the steps to his front porch seemed steeper than they used to. His hands sometimes trembled when he tried to open a jar, and there were mornings when getting dressed felt like a marathon. Still, every time his daughter offered help, bringing groceries, changing a light bulb, even tying his shoelaces, he would wave her off with a forced smile and say, "I've got it." Inside, though, he felt ashamed, not because he needed help, but because he believed he wasn't supposed to. To David, accepting help felt like giving up control, like stepping away from the role of protector and provider that had defined him for decades. This fear is not uncommon. For many older adults, especially those who've spent a lifetime being independent and responsible, the idea of needing help can feel like weakness or failure. We live in a culture that celebrates self-reliance. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and "don't be a burden" echo through our collective mindset. But the truth is, accepting help is not about giving up. It's about giving in to the reality that we're all human, and humans need each other, always have, always will. Science backs this up. Studies show that people who accept support when needed, whether physical, emotional, or social, experience lower levels of stress and higher levels of satisfaction. On the other hand, those who resist help often suffer in silence, increasing their risk of falls, illness, and depression. Help doesn't strip away your dignity. It strengthens your ability to keep living fully. In fact, having the courage to say, "Yes, I could use a hand," is one of the greatest acts of strength there is. Eventually, David's turning point came after a fall in his backyard. He was raking leaves, as he always did in the fall, when he slipped and twisted his ankle. It wasn't serious, but it left him unable to walk properly for several weeks. That time forced him to let his daughter do the cooking, let his grandson mow the lawn, and let a neighbor pick up his prescriptions. At first, he felt helpless, but slowly, he began to notice something else. People were showing up not out of pity, but out of love. They wanted to help, and he, for once, let them. Something shifted in David. He no longer saw help as a symbol of loss. Instead, he saw it as a bridge that kept him connected to the people he loved, a bridge that allowed him to stay in his home safely, to enjoy his garden longer, to keep walking the dog he adored. He even installed railings by the steps and accepted a cane from his doctor. "I used to think a cane meant weakness," he says now. "Turns out it just means I'm still going, and smart enough to make it easier on myself." Accepting help doesn't mean you're less capable. It means you're choosing wisdom over pride. It means you value your safety, your peace, and your connections more than you value the illusion of doing everything alone. Think about how good you have felt when helping others. When you lifted a heavy box, drove someone to a doctor's appointment, or just listened on a hard day. Did you think less of that person? Or did you feel honored that they trusted you enough to let you in? Let someone feel that honor now. If there's something in your daily life that has become difficult, cooking, bathing, transportation, remembering medication, ask yourself this: is there someone I can ask for help without apology? Is there a tool or device that could make life easier if I stopped feeling embarrassed? Could saying yes actually open the door to more freedom, not less? Accepting help is not about becoming dependent. It's about staying empowered. Because with the right support, you can keep doing the things you love with the people you love for much longer. As we come to the end of this journey together, one truth stands clear. Aging is not something to resist. It's something to embrace. Throughout this video, we've listened to real stories from seniors who face the same fears, doubts, and changes that so many experience in later life. And yet, through their courage, reflection, and gentle wisdom, they've shown us a powerful path forward. One paved not by fighting time, but by flowing with it. To age gracefully doesn't mean pretending nothing has changed. It means honoring what has changed and learning to live fully within this new chapter. It means embracing the lines on your face as stories told, the gray in your hair as proof of strength, and the quiet in your days as space to grow in new directions. It means forgiving your past, finding new purpose, accepting love when it's offered, and noticing the small blessings around you every single day. You are not invisible. You are not finished. You are not alone. You are wiser than ever before, stronger in ways that truly matter, and more capable of deep joy, connection, and peace than perhaps you've ever known. So as you move forward from this moment, take a deep breath, look around you, and remember, Growing older is not the closing of your life story. It's the turning of a rich and beautiful page. Thank you for being here. And thank you for aging. Not just with grace, but with heart. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and haven't yet liked and subscribed, now is the perfect time to do so. It really helps our channel grow and reach more people who need this kind of helpful content. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll always know when a new video is up. Your support truly means the world to us. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.